From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at Noon, streaming now.
And thanks for joining us here on the News at Noon. I'm Lauren Casey, and Todd Claassen is standing by from home this midday with your Monday forecast. Todd, it's been pretty warm here in the Circle City. What can folks expect as they get outside for their lunch hour?
Yeah, it's going to remain mild here all throughout the day, Lauren. Even with the cloud cover that's in place, temperatures are still running in the 60s and 70s. The thing we'll have to look out for as we get into the afternoon hours, believe it or not, are some rain showers. We haven't really had to talk about much rain in the past few days, or really a few months for that matter, but a cold front is heading our way. Outside right now, you can see the view from downtown off to the west, and we have quite a bit of cloud cover that is in place. And the clouds may thin for a few peaks of sunshine before the cold front makes its way in our direction, but this front does not have a whole lot of moisture with it whatsoever. The heaviest of the rain is moving through Wisconsin, but nonetheless, this front will swing through here this afternoon, giving us the opportunity of a quick passing shower. It's going to be nothing that's going to linger very long, and the timing would be between 3 and 8 o'clock from west to east. As you can see, this just broken line of thin showers makes its way through the area. It's not going to be enough to probably even cause a few puddles, unfortunately. We could use a lot more in the way of rain, but the temperatures are mild, once again above normal in the 60s and 70s. That's the way we stay throughout the afternoon hours as those showers move through. But as soon as that front comes through, Lauren, with the showers, behind that front, temperatures do cool off quickly. 50s by 8 p.m., 40s by time you wake up. More on your extended forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. So Indianapolis appears to have set a grim record over the weekend. Metro Police are investigating at least 7 homicides that took place between Friday night and Sunday night. The latest deadly shooting happening on Washington Street near Rural Street on the city's east side. That shooting victim was a man, and police say that he later died at a hospital. The death there gives Indianapolis 187 total homicides in 2020, with 160 of those labeled as intentional homicides by police. That eclipses the previous record of 159 set in 2018, and there are still almost 3 months left in the calendar year. A big decision on the future of policing in Indy is set to happen tonight at the City County Council meeting. The council will decide whether to give civilians the majority on the board that sets the rules of police that they have to follow. And our Troy Washington takes a look at that proposal.
It would be a huge accomplishment for Indianapolis to lead the way in this sort of just added layer of accountability.
Proposal 237 is a big deal no matter how you cut it, because if passed, change is definitely on the way.
Everybody, no matter your zip code, no matter your color, no matter your culture, should be able to just walk and be able to exist and live within their communities with equality and with safety.
Kenneth Sullivan Jr. is a pastor at New Direction Church. He's also a part of Faith in Indiana and thinks Proposal 237 is a step in the right direction.
This is something that we believe would be such a huge step toward just bringing that unity and, as I said before, accountability to our police department and helping the community as well as the police departments that serve those communities work together in ensuring that there's a good relationship and that everything is being looked at from both sides.
If passed on Monday, things will drastically change when it comes to oversight of IMPD policies and rules. The final say for police will be taken away from the chief and given to a board of civilians designed to help.
We can have that trust between communities as well as the police departments that serve them.
Those who disagree with the proposal say it could let a board walk all over police.
It shows checks and balances, and it also restores just a level of democracy.
Pastor Sullivan, however, believes there isn't a chance that'll happen. Working for you, Troy Washington, WRTV.
Troy, thank you. Now that proposal is likely to pass as 18 of the 25 council members have signed on as co-sponsors, but the plan is being blasted by the leader of the police union. Today, Fraternal Order of Police President Rick Snyder posted a number of comments about this proposal to Twitter. He accuses the council of trying to inject politics into policing and stripping the police chief's authority over the department. Let's go now to Democracy 2020, and we're taking a closer look at the race for governor this week. WRTV spoke to all three candidates and asked them the same 4 questions, so how they answered was up to them. Among the questions, what did they learn from this unprecedented year? What is the top issue heading into the legislative session? If elected, what would they accomplish in their first 100 days? And why should voters elect them? Republican Governor Eric Holcomb is the incumbent, and he says that public health and jobs will remain top priorities in a second term.
We're at 23,000 new job commitments coming to the state of Indiana. We've done $4 billion already in the first 3 quarters of this year. More jobs than we brought in 2016 total. We got a fourth quarter. I've never seen a pipeline in a fourth quarter more full than it is right now. So we still have that momentum for the new jobs of the future. These are $27 plus an hour jobs.
You know that at WRTV, we know the value and the dignity of work. That's why we do our hiring.
You've been covering
right?
it. Yeah,
right?
No, you've been doing it for a long time.
And it has nothing to do with the governor's office.
I know that.
But we know that
there's
dignity in work, right? And we want people to know what all these jobs and
I wish everybody did that.
Right? Because we want people to.
That's how we convert more haves to have-nots, by the way, and that's good for the haves too.
Well, you can see more of our interview with the governor tonight on the news at 6 o'clock. Over the next 2 days, you're going to hear from the Democratic Dr. Woody Myers tomorrow and from the Libertarian candidate Donald Rainwater on Wednesday. It's all part of our Democracy 2020 coverage. One thing Governor Holcomb could address later this week is the increasing number of COVID-19 cases in the state. For the 4th day in a row, the state health department says new cases were above the 1,500 mark. 1,589 new positive tests were reported today, along with 6 additional COVID-related deaths. That number of COVID-19 patients in the hospitals also is on the rise, with more than 1,200 people being treated statewide. His combination of speed, power, patience at the plate, and defense made him one of the best second basemen in baseball history. Joe Morgan won back-to-back MVP awards, helping the Cincinnati Reds to World Series titles in 1975 and 76. The Hall of Famer later became known to a new generation as a broadcaster, helping to call Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN for 20 years. Joe Morgan died this morning. The cause of death has not yet been released. He was 77 years old. It's a hearing that could shape the race for the White House, but it could also shape the laws of the land for years to come. Next, the effort by Republicans to put a Hoosier judge on the nation's highest court. Todd.
And Lauren, just lots of clouds out there right now, but temperatures are pretty mild across central Indiana. Things will be changing though as we get into the afternoon hours as a cold front sweeps across that state, our state. That will bring the potential for some showers to the forecast. We'll talk about the timeline and how much rain I think we could see coming up in your WRTV Storm Team forecast.
Welcome back. The push by Senate Republicans to confirm a new Supreme Court justice is on. The hearing for Judge Amy Coney Barrett is underway, and the Notre Dame law professor's nomination could move through the Senate in record time. ABC's Faith Abube has the latest now from Washington.
A bitter political battle underway on Capitol Hill as Senate Democrats and Republicans clash on whether this Supreme Court confirmation hearing for Judge Amy Coney Barrett should even be happening, with voters already casting ballots in the presidential election.
What will happen is that my Democratic colleagues will say this has never been done, and they're right in this regard. Nobody's, I think, has ever been confirmed in an election year past July. All I can say is that I feel that we're doing this constitutionally.
For the next few hours, each of the 22 members of the committee will have up to 10 minutes for their opening remarks, the nominee herself taking center stage later this afternoon. According to a copy of her opening statement obtained by ABC News, Barrett will talk about her family, her faith, and how her judicial philosophy mirrors that of her mentor, the late Justice Antonin Scalia. Barrett writing, quote, "Courts are not designed to solve every problem or right every wrong in our public life." Democrats, including vice presidential candidate Kamala Harris, sure to grill Barrett on the Affordable Care Act, a case scheduled before the court just a week after the November election. She'll also be pressed on her position on Roe v. Wade and asked to pledge to recuse herself from any case related to the presidential election.
The stakes are extraordinarily high for the American people, both in the short term and for decades to come.
The latest ABC News Washington Post poll shows 52% of registered voters want the winner of the presidential election to pick the Supreme Court nominee to replace Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. But Republicans hope to complete the confirmation process and have Barrett on the court a week before Election Day. Democrats still vowing to slow down the process.
When the actual vote occurs in committee and on the floor, Democrats will not supply the quorum.
This is going to be a long, contentious week.
Senators are expected to start grilling Judge Barrett tomorrow. Faith Abube, ABC News, Washington.
Well, is it just the flu, or is it something potentially worse? Next, how the coming months may be tough even for doctors trying to distinguish symptoms during a pandemic. We'll be right back. Welcome back. So if you get sick, how will you know whether you have COVID-19 or the flu? It's a question that may stump you now that the flu season is here, but it's also a question doctors are having trouble answering. Scripps reporter Brian Schnee takes a closer look.
Severe influenza is what ends up in our facilities and in our hospitals. If this trend continues, we're going to need all of those beds for COVID-19 patients.
A record number of COVID-19 cases, medical professionals concerned for what's to come. Flu season.
It's fever with a respiratory complaint. That's it. So it could be fever and a cough, fever and shortness of breath. That's COVID-19.
Doctors say the coronavirus and influenza have striking similarities.
They're indistinguishable at this point. We don't have the ability, just based on history and a patient's symptoms and physical exam, to be able to distinguish between COVID-19 and influenza.
A recent study performed in Japan compares SARS-CoV-2 or coronavirus to IAV or influenza A on human skin. The study concluded coronavirus can stay active on your skin for up to 9 hours, nearly 8 times longer than influenza A, which stayed active for less than 2 hours.
Influenza travels on droplet particles, just like SARS-CoV-2, or the virus that causes COVID-19. And so the same exact principles apply.
Also in that study, the effectiveness of hand sanitizer, which deactivated both coronavirus and influenza in 15 seconds when tested. Doctors stress the same public health measures apply for both COVID and the flu. And it's not too early to get your flu shot.
Get vaccinated for influenza. That's easy to do. It's safe. And when I say it's effective in reducing severe influenza.
Well, Brian Schnee was with that report, and this week you can get a free flu shot at various Community Health Network locations. From now through Friday, drive-through flu shots will be offered at Community Hospital East from 10 until 3 each day. Let's talk about the forecast right now. If you are heading out to get a flu shot, to get lunch, whatever you have to do this Monday, Todd, what can folks here expect in central Indiana?
You're going to be just fine the next couple hours, Lauren, but once we get past about 3 o'clock in some western communities, and then after that, we'll have to start turning our attention to some rain showers across central Indiana. We desperately need the rainfall across the area. We're not going to get a lot, but at this point, we'll take anything we can. A live look from downtown off to the west. You can see the leaves changing color, looking all nice there across IUPUI and White River State Park and beyond. The clouds are firmly in place, and some of these clouds will start to produce some rain showers as the afternoon wears on. 69 right now in Indy, 75 in Terre Haute, 71 in Bloomington, 70 in Muncie. All these temperatures already above a normal. Our normal high only gets up to 67 this time of year, so we're above normal even with the cloud cover that's in place. And we'll tack on a couple more degrees here with partly to mostly cloudy skies and those scattered showers building in. Should get up to about 75 here in the city, so temperature is not an issue at all here throughout the day today. And as far as the rain goes, there's not a ton out there. There's just not a lot of moisture to work with this front as it makes its way through the area, and it's still in western Illinois. But it's going to start to make its way off towards the east here as we work our way throughout the course of the afternoon hours. So western locations, you are going to get into the shower potential the earliest, and maybe by about 2:30, 3 o'clock, some of these showers are moving into places like Petersburg, Terre Haute, into the Sullivan area. And then as we progress throughout the afternoon, it's probably not until about 4 or 5 o'clock in the metro area, and then 6, 7 o'clock off to the east, where there could be a few heavier downpours and maybe a rumble of thunder, but we're not expecting any severe weather. That is good news as this front moves through. And you can see these rain chances, how they quickly ramp up and then they drop very, very quickly. So really just between 2 and 8 o'clock is when we'll have a few of these scattered showers, but really in western locations, you're probably done with the rain by 4 o'clock. Those percentages you see, those were for Indianapolis. Most people, 1/10 of an inch or less of rain, could be a little bit more there in northern and eastern locations as the front comes through. But the one thing you will notice, and take this into account later on this evening if you're going to be out and about, as soon as that front goes through, the temperatures drop really, really quickly into the 50s. And then by tomorrow morning when you wake up, it's going to be about 20 to 25 degrees colder tomorrow morning than this morning. We're talking about low temperatures in the low 40s. With that said, tomorrow turns into a beautiful day with nothing but sunshine and high temperatures that'll be topping off right around 70 degrees. Wednesday's still warm at 75. Wednesday is very windy though. And then as we get into Thursday, more showers with a stronger cold front. But look what that cold front, Lauren, does to the temperatures by the time we get to Friday and Saturday. Lows will be in the 30s. Highs will only be in the mid-50s, so if you're a fan of the warmth and these above normal temperatures we've been experiencing, the next couple days will be your days, and especially tomorrow with the dry conditions and all that sunshine.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. So let's say it's time to renew your car tag or your driver's license, but during this pandemic, you'd rather just do it all from home instead of taking a trip to the BMV. Well, Tim Maniscalco with the Better Business Bureau says that you need to be careful because you could easily end up giving your money to someone other than the government.
Yeah, with COVID-19, a lot of government agencies are trying to do a lot of their transaction with the public out there via online. And we've seen that a lot with the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. So what scammers are doing now is they know that the Bureau of Motor Vehicles have pushed a lot of people to do their transactions online, and they're setting up these fake websites looking like they're an official BMV site. So you want to go in there and, let's say, renew your license, get a license plate, other things that you might have to do with the BMV online. These are fake websites. They're going to ask for personal information. They may even ask for credit card payments up front. Obviously, you're not going to get what you need from the BMV because you're going to a fake website. So just be careful if you are going online to do things, particularly with the BMV. You want to make certain that it's the right URL. It's going to have something like an in.gov as the URL address. Also looks for the HTTPS up in the URL bar. That's very important, and S is the important letter there. And also you want to look for that little lock icon. But just make certain that if you are doing something online with the government, particularly with the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, that it is the correct website, and don't be giving out information unless you're absolutely certain that it is the government that you're giving it to, that department that you're giving it to, because once again, the scammers are out there and they're putting out these fake websites that look real, but they really aren't the BMV.
Well, Tim, thank you so much. You can find out more about this scam at the Better Business Bureau's website. That's bbb.org. Stick around. The news at noon continues just after the break. Welcome back. So you may remember this guy from last week. Nathan Apodaca got national attention for his TikTok video. It showed him skateboarding to work while drinking Ocean Spray cranberry juice. Well, he was on his board because his car broke down, and the video led Ocean Spray to get him a new truck. Well, Nathan got back on his board last night, but as you can see, he had a good reason and a different beverage of choice. Nathan, obviously a Lakers fan there, and he hit the streets to celebrate the NBA Finals win over the Miami Heat. Not sure if drinking and boarding is legal, so we're certainly not endorsing the idea, but Nathan certainly is getting everything he can out of his viral moment. All right, Todd, if people are getting out and maybe going boarding or skating or jogging today, when do they need to do that?
Yeah, you know, anytime between about 3 and 7 o'clock, there will be some scattered showers and maybe a rumble of thunder moving through. They're very, very light and they're very spotty, though, so you don't need to cancel any plans. They go through very, very quick. Just know they will be possible. Tomorrow's a terrific day. Still mild Wednesday. Better rain chances on Thursday, followed by cooler temperatures for the weekend.
All right, Todd, thanks, and thank you for joining us and making WRTV your choice for news. Have a great Monday.